In the bottom right, as the red Terran, it's Gumiho.
Alright, so Gumiho went with, again, stressing like a kind of standard Terran vs Protoss opener that time. Go for the Widowmine drops and all these other things, but just took care not to rush out of the base as fast as possible. And that really did seal the deal for Harstem at the start of that. I really don't think Harstem chose a bad tactic. I mean, when you watch someone like MC beat Bomber with the exact same moves, you got to think that's got to be a good tactic worth trying. But for Harstem's sake, he is now on his last life. If he falls here, he's out of the tournament, and we'll have Gumiho versus Lobo in the finals. Alternatively, he may still try and bring this back. I mean, at the end of the day, Harstem's a really good player through and through, whether it's through cheese or not, whether it's macro or otherwise. It's not like he's going to go down without a fight.
It was pretty much like a build order cross. Like, not a hard counter necessarily, because it's always possible the Widowmine isn't there. Doesn't get the Oracle kill. But it was an unlucky situation for him. And the question is Gumiho going to do the same thing again? As before, it's kind of... It seems to be his comfort zone, going back to the Widowmine drop, either one base or two base.
Well, I think this might be the one map we, if at all, we see like a proper mech build out of one. Because let's not forget, you can actually abuse the tanks nicely on this map too, several different positions in several different locations. Although, just to recap the bets real quick, guys, Partouf's bet on Harstem worth 7,117, and the bets on Gumiho were just shy of 26,000, so should be pretty good payouts either way.
Well, the guys are still on gas, and Harstem is going to see this, so at the very least he's going to know, factory's going to come down, and actually saw it, so there you go.
Bekonomi's still sitting on one gas himself. Not rushing out for that fastest possible Stargate or Twilight Council. I am, just going back on this, like, I don't know if Gumiho would go for mech or even just tanks again. I would definitely love to see it because it's a different way to play, and it's always cool seeing anything but what we see 1,000 times over regurgitated in StarCraft 2. But I don't know. At the same time, you're so close to just locking the series down. Do you play safe and standard, or do you just try something a little bit weird?
Yeah. I'm really interested to see if Gumiho's going to go for the Hellions, like Overgrowth, or just the plain old Widowmine drop. Two different ways to deal with that. I feel like the Hellions make it, as you keep saying, whenever it happens, like Pro's just like, oh, Hellions, I don't know.
There's only like a small handful of Protoss players we've seen firsthand that like they do the clutch thing where you build a pylon, or you've already got the SimCity set up ahead of time. Every other Protoss is like, wait, I thought you only use these versus Zerg. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. So it is a Widowmine drop, though, and this will be a little more straightforward. That's probably what Harstem was thinking was going to be the case anyways. And, as such, he'll, look at the time and be like, okay, it's around like 6-7 minutes. I should expect this Widowmine drop now. And hopefully I have a Robo and an Observer almost ready, or actually ready to go.
Well, due to the order of operations here, the starport's not down at the fastest, sickest timing possible, and it's not going to be a Widowmine that hits before anything's available and ready, but for Harstem's sake, I was going to say, okay, it'd be weird to see him go for the Twilight Council, because you're kind of expecting this to happen. If someone does Widowmine drops once, you're kind of like chancing a game too, but if they do it twice in a row, or if they got Widowmines out early twice in a row, you're going to want that Robo earlier. And this isn't, of course, for the Immortal or anything like that. You want the Observer out. You need detection. It's the #1 bane of Protoss in the early game. Getting detection down is a pain.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, you just pull the probes for a little while. Maybe you kill the Widowmine when it actually drops. It's not the end-all be-all if you don't have an Observer in place automatically, but it's much easier.
Well, I'll get this medevac on the way. A couple more Marines smashed up with this. I wonder if he'll walk a second Widowmine across the map, or if he'll just drop both of them. This one does go in the mineral line for the time being. Safe and sound, make sure no Oracle plays can catch him off guard. And that's what I like about Gumiho. Like, he does play it without playing a little too reckless. He's making the right moves, ensures that he doesn't lose the game to a bit of greed, and moving out at a pretty appropriate time. CCV's going to get a bit of a scout off too to see what's waiting for him. Really not a lot, to be honest. There's not a cannon here at the natural base. Mothership Core does, of course, have the energy to overcharge at least once. But he's seen no stalkers, he's seen no sentries, and this is a pretty nice signal to just go for it.
Yep. Oh, Mothership Core, you might not want to... Well, I guess you wouldn't really help out the much otherwise, but maybe not attacking the rocks right now is a good idea.
Oh, she's in range for the overcharge. So.
Which is, yeah, it's most important. She shouldn't take down the Marines herself anyways. Let us pop the overcharge down here. She won't have another one for the main, but the Blink Stalkers are there, so very nicely done.
Where's that medevac at?
It's at the main of Harstem, and he just killed a bunch of probes. Are you serious, Rifkin?
Sorry, I'm horrible. I'm horrible.
Oh, gosh. 8
probes die. I was looking for it on the units tab. I didn't see it, but I guess it's because it got picked off as I clicked the U button. So I was like, wait, did he what? But with that observer out, shuts this down, and this doesn't get out of hand. And for Harstem's sake, look at the probe count. 37 probes to 31 SCVs. I mean, this is hardly him getting screwed by this attack.
No. It's kind of an equalizer, really. And you count for mules. I mean, maybe Gumiho's just like a little bit, like economy. I don't, like, I should check income. Yeah, he is just a little bit ahead in income, but yeah, not devastating for Harstem.
No, certainly not. But Gumiho, with 2 more medevacs behind this, not at all afraid of, paranoia of Colossus. Going to go for that 4 count like we typically see. Give those medevacs out for some drops. And if Harstem is forced to split right now, he's going to have an okay attack on one side, but it's that guesstimation. Do you leave one Colossus in the main or the natural? How tight do you keep your stalkers clamped up? I mean, it's going to be really difficult to respond to this, and while all of this is going to be going on, Gumiho locks down a 3rd.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, Harstem tried one, like, aggressive move, and it was really cheesy. So, like, taking advantage of the fact that you're going to, Harstem's probably going to play safe, macro-oriented, not going to attack you. Go for that faster 3rd on location, for sure.
Alright, well, he doesn't know the attack's coming just yet, but he will see it with the observer in just a moment's time. Good to have this observer spread. Of course, it's not the craziest one. We get like 4 observers all over the map, and there's always jokes about Pig Baby back in WCS making like 8 or 7 or something ridiculous. But more to the point, like I'm surprised we don't at least have an odd pylon placed out there, not for warping potential, but even just to see stuff coming from super far away. Because now that he's in the blind spot of Harstem, he does have to move out a little bit. He's a little bit scared, doesn't quite know what's going on. But double drop heading towards that main.
Some good positioning here around all of the tech. That's a little dangerous. What? Oh, he's gonna stay on the pylons.
Okay, I was gonna say he missed the cliff a little bit, but yeah, if he picks off 1 pylon, that's not too bad. Does it for what is almost free. 1 Marine does flounder on the ground, corpse on fire.
Yeah. I mean, he's gotta wait for more Marauders to really take down an army head on at the first plan. Yeah, just a couple of units take down 1.
It does pull all the probes off the mineral line.
3.
It's wasted force field.
A little unnecessary, not gonna lie. But he's scared of that.
So I like the way he split this up. Rather than leaving Colossus in the main waiting for the medevacs to unload, he's actually left the stalkers up here to try and catch the medevacs before they unload. Blink's not quite done yet though, so getting underneath this and stopping it is not going to be so easy as normal. Meanwhile, we do have a lot of Marauders heading towards that natural base. These Colossus could be in some trouble. We oftentimes see players like Major just drag and drop Marauders on top of Colossus, and we watch them just die.
Gumiho changing up his style a little bit, ramping up the pressure here. Gonna drop in 2 locations, and if the drop of the main doesn't work, that 3rd is now a target as well.
So, decent shot goes off on this, and of course he's gonna pull back away. Colossus don't die. I think it's gonna be one of the key things, but a couple of probes did go down. 3rd base under attack from that drop from earlier, still not fully cleaned up, and this is one of those rare times in StarCraft. Oh, did he not? Oh, did he not bring the observer? That one of mine still lives.
Nope. Yup. That's gonna get maybe a couple of kills.
It might go off on like the stalkers. No, why? Oh no! What's it gonna go off on? Oh, 5 probe kills, not too shabby. For one of my course that had already gone off once, get 6 kills in total, not too bad. Triple medevacs heading off through the southern attack, and of course, Gumiho. Look at these ones up here. I don't know how far he's gonna go, but this is the one time I guarantee you, Harstem kind of wish he had a Phoenix or 2 in play.
Yeah, right. Also delaying, like, what otherwise, we consider that Deadwing game. I think it got Templar Archives around pretty much now. But of course, that was a much faster 3rd. Actually, as I say it, he throws on Templar Archive. Okay, whatever. But the High Templar is going to be useful in defending these drops as well.
I'm a little surprised he actually brought these medevacs all the way back home. I thought he was just going to go back to the 3rd when he attacks the main, split the forces. But, okay, now he starts setting to the front lines. There's a lot of medevacs, by the way. Not a lot of Vikings in play just yet. So this does get a little bit scary, where if Harstem thwarts this, he's got a really good follow-up to the point that Gumiho's not getting anything to stop those Colossus. Medevacs up here in the north. Big attack coming here from the just front side.
You missed the observer.
Big drop coming, though. Colossus are going to be able to respond, but not before a couple of the probes die. Cannon going to buy a little bit of time. And we, of course, see if those drops in the main decide to come down at the same time. Stalkers in the main, of course, are routed over here. Shot goes off on the Mothership core. It doesn't quite die, but the Colossus annihilate the army count. But now dropping towards the main. Feedbacks go down, and Harstem is going to pick off that medevac. Only a single Marine gets out. Again, a great defense. Loses probes, but he kills so much of Gumiho's army. How many medevacs just died there as well? I mean, this is a situation where you usually can't replenish them. You have to swap to Viking tech at this point.
Yeah, in total, not sure, but that was not the best double-pronged drop I've ever seen. In fact, it was absolutely terrible. But Gumiho takes, or he still has, a little bit of an army lead, definitely an SCV lead right now. I guess Starcraft's stuck.
Yeah. That's a bit unfortunate, but I can't. Yeah, as cool as the defense was here, you know, Gumiho got squished in and that sucked. Whatever. That feedback, the fact that he was able to do that while focusing at the natural at the same time, that was really sick moves out of Harstem.
Yeah, yeah. But having those eyes, like the Flucent Phoenix had eyes on that, so that was really, really cool, really important to see. Gumiho does stop in his Viking production for just a little while and gets 4 medevacs.
Ghost Academy again. We'll see if actual ghosts come out this time.
Right?
I mean, I'm not saying that to be like condescending. It's a serious question because Harstem's already revealed Templar attacks there. You know, those feedbacks went down on the medevacs. He knows storms potentially out at any second now.
Yeah.
Does get the observer this time. Yeah, the observer who lived no longer anymore. There's hallucinating Phoenix over here. Possibly could just swing back over the army. Keep an eye on what's going on.
Upgrades looking okay. You know, it's 2 versus 1-1 with both now doing double upgrades.
As we get later into the game, well, actually, we got 3 ghosts coming out. Whoa, hold the phones. But as we get later into this game, I mean, this is kind of Harstem's comfort zone. The late game, the macro game. I mean, we saw him play 45-minute long games versus Kaas not too long ago. So it's not a situation where I think he's in trouble as this goes on. But his upgrades keeping up as well, going to the +3 weapons or armor rather, mixed with these storms. Those zealots are gonna be so hard to kill.
Yeah, yeah. Gumiho does start those upgrades. Got the engineer base just a little bit earlier. I don't know really what Gumiho is trying to do with this position, but it's different. it's you know, I guess the Colossus really can't take on that army.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Like Harstem's got the tools to take like a fight if it was just like, you know, open terrain, no cliffs, anything, you know, A move into A move, but he doesn't, and that's not how it's gonna go. And Gumiho's trying to like pick off, you know, assimilators for free, pylons for free. Just use the cliff to his advantage while he bulks up and gets his max up as well. His upgrades, I think he knows his upgrades are really far behind at this point too. Like the possibility of even trying to take on zealots without +2 weapons at this point really unlikely. I mean,
he's really. I would say that he's looking to catch this Colossus, but they're not able to walk down that ramp. So.
No, and if the Vikings dive in, that's where they see the storms come into effect. So it is a really awkward stalemate over here on the left side where Gumiho's putting a lot of pressure on for just an assimilator.
Yeah, but he's buying so much time. I mean, this is all Harstem having to defend his entire army. And he gets a 4th, he gets those upgrades. Actually, he's getting one of those perfect Terran armies that is like a lot of ghosts and a lot of Vikings.
This is where it does get a little bit scary, though, because Harstem only really has to deal with one of the 2 things. If you kill all the Vikings, obviously the Colossus can be a little bit stronger. If you kill all the ghosts, then, okay, you got storms available to you. But I think one of the key things is that neither of those units, ghosts or Vikings, are really good as a follow-up unit. It's still, like, the Marauders and Marines are still going to be the core of the army for Gumiho. And if he loses too much on the in-between while he's dancing between the storms and the Colossus, it's not going to really matter what's left over as far as tech units, because Harstem's going to walk all over him. So this Marine Marauder portion of the army, well, it might not seem so significant because a lot of the emphasis is going to be on picking off the Vikings versus the Colossus or the Ghost versus the Templar. That's probably the most important thing for Gumiho, that he keeps enough of this alive to actually kill afterwards. 4th base for Harstem is going to prove to be a really nice focal point for engagements. We do, of course, have some Zealots going through the backside to look for some counterattack damage, but also defense against the Marauders on the left side of the map, too.
Well, 2-2 finishes up for Gumiho, and he has that Sensor Tower now, which you don't usually see here, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, provides a lot of coverage, but he's also sneaking around the right side of the map. He's tearing down some of these rocks. I don't know if he's just chasing down the Zealot or what, but I thought he was setting up for like a really, really long counterattack. Would have been cool to see for certain. Are you okay over there, by the way?
Oh, I'm dying.
I know that feeling, so I just thought I'd check. But Ghost on the front lines, I mean, they don't have to EMP Templar. You EMP Stalkers, you EMP Zealots, you remove the shields from this Colossus. All of a sudden, the Vikings only need 2 shots instead of 3. I mean, this is going to be really hard pressed with so many Ghosts in play for Harstem to just move into a fight. Move into a concave. I mean, it's borderline suicidal.
Yeah. Big counterattack, though, at the 3rd. mean, that's why I usually see the Sedge Tower not at the 4th. You know, it's cool because it sees the army, and the army is the biggest deal, but you also want to see these counterattacks towards your main and 3rd.
He just rips that bunker apart like nothing at all. And with those +3 armor upgrades, as we see, Marauders just not the best at dealing with Zealots. I mean, they'll kill them eventually, but look at this. They've taken so many shots in the face.
Yeah. I mean, this is well worth it. It's actually warping in from across the map, too, but a long con working out for Harstem. Gumiho tries to go around the army, but this could be, you know, I mean, it seems like a good idea, but it could be really bad. He could be forced into a position where he couldn't micro back.
Yeah, I'm digging all the, oh, there's Cloak on the Ghost. Steers the Observers, though, so he'll see these. Storm's going down on top of the Vikings as well, but, oh, very expensive trades for both players. Meanwhile, those cannons didn't quite stop the army, so he's going to stim in and try and pick off the Nexus. Colossus can't quite get an engagement point because there's so many Vikings keep chasing. Not a lot of Stalkers or Storms left to pick them off.
Oh, Gumiho might just have this. I mean, all the Ghosts are still alive. Usually they die in a suicide attempt to kill the High Templars, but they shoot out very nicely.
Oh, I really want to see that nuke come into play, but Gumiho, you know, while he does kill that base, Harstem takes another, kind of zerging it up, so to speak, buying a little bit more time, picks off the last couple of Vikings, and that one Colossus looks like it did fall, sadly.
Yeah, now both players starting to lose those high-tech units. You know, the Vikings, the Ghost, the Storm, the Colossus.
There's 2 Storms actually behind this. He'll push this off. He'll save this base. Oh, another Storm for the left side. Didn't even see that one. Another Storm waiting to go along the front lines. There we go, on top of the Marauders. No Medivacs left to heal this damage. So these Storms are hurting a lot more. The Zealots, they charge forward. They execute all of these low-health units, and Harstem's going to hold on to this base.
Oh, Gumiho probably should not have committed towards that, towards the last, but there was an attack at the 3rd as well that just killed all of the SCVs.
Not when the nuke comes down, though. Yeah, Harstem's going to pull away from this.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. Nukes are always cool to see, folks, but sadly they are usually not that impactful. Perhaps could have launched that towards the natural instead? I don't know, but... cool attack. Doesn't lose the Ghost Academy, though. Really key, he prepares this. Of course, Ghosts, EMPs, all these very important things moving forward. Yeah,
I mean, Workers Code actually pretty even, but of course with both players on so many bases, replenishing workers is not that big of a deal. They're trading outs, however. I mean, that was a really big fight, so there is no bank. And Gumiho, you know, if Harstem had tried to counterattack immediately, that nuke could have been the difference in surviving or not, but not necessary.
I mean, the nuke's always cool to see, but you rarely see it actually get used for damage. I think, like, was it Journey versus Grubby's the last time I ever saw a nuke actually do damage?
Basically, they're like the Terran force builds towards the end of the game.
Yeah, big engagement areas you don't want to walk into, big ways to zone out methods of attack. But Medivac heading towards the main. Harstem is rushing to try and defend this. Gotta stop these Marines in the middle lines. They're losing a lot of probes for this. We got 3 Medivacs coming over here to the right side too. Harstem perhaps may have been split a little too much. Dark Templar starting to warp in though. Dark Templar might just be saving him, but he's going to lose so many probes before any of this gets fully cleaned up. And Harstem is just struggling to get anywhere. There's
so many things happening. His army doesn't know where to go. The DTs are going to in the main, so he tries to go to the 4th. That's already dead. There are DT and Zealots in the natural for Gumiho though, and it looks like they were cleaned up, but not for killing 16 more SCVs.
This has just been a struggle all over the place. The Dark Shrine does get picked off. Harstem loses the space over here to the right. His main base isn't really mining anymore, but he's lost so many probes through this. At the same time, for Gumiho, though, down to 34 workers himself isn't that impressive. But he's got the power of mules, and that's going to bring him back into this a lot better than it will for Harstem.
Yeah, and 5 command centers. When he wants to replenish SCVs, he definitely can.
Scans going off, picking up the last couple Dark Templar by the looks of it. Lifts the orbital, make sure it doesn't die. Harstem, of course, not really producing more probes. I can't say it's a terrible choice, because at this point in the game, you want to have bigger army supply, but he doesn't have a bank. He doesn't have income.
No bank, and you're not even maxed out, so, like, losing probes is just flat out bad right now.
There we go. Now you're going to start reproducing them. It's got a lot of chronos, so he can start making up the damage, I suppose. But now it's a low-income situation for both players, and I think in these sort of scenarios, this is when your tech units start coming in to be a little more important, where you're trading out energy for army supply, landing a storm, or an EMP, or hell, even snipes. But neither player really with any I guess Harstem's the only one who's really got anything over with these storms.
Yeah. Gumiho is just going with, like, bare-boned units, you know, just bio, no ghosts, no Vikings, and
this planetary gets trucked, but at the same time, he unloads once again towards the north. Got a big army trying to trade this out. For Harstem's sake, this is looking to be borderline a base trade, and I don't know if that's going to be his best choice. There's no mothership core. There's no recall potential.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, obviously Harstem wins with how much, like, the Colossus and...
If it comes down to army fight. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But it's the Terran that's going to win out in a base trade. They can lift, and they have Medivacs.
Harstem coming in strong, takes out another planetary fortress. At the same time, Gumiho takes out the natural base. Did Harstem have any probes? That is the big question. He's got to get something out to build a building outside of his own base.
Now, no. There's 3. This one at the third would be able to get out. I don't know about these 2.
These are the last 3 probes. Yeah.
Actually, he doesn't finding gas.
He doesn't have money. He can't actually build anything else. Like he couldn't put on a pylon or an assimilator or nothing. But at the same time, he's rushing home to defend, and Gumiho's getting his base wrecked by Zealots. The natural base just got cleared out. Zealots with +2 weapon upgrades are nothing to be shy of. And this army in the main, it's clumped up. It's perfect for storms.
Nah, he's got to get out of there. Can he get out of there? Does this all fit in 4 medevacs?
I don't know.
Oh, he's going to lose.
He's going to lose his whole army, and I think Harstem wins this base trade as a consequence.
Yep. It was weird, but...
There's no production for anybody at this point.
He can... No. Gumiho can tie. Right?
That's true. He could always float off and be a jerkbag in the bottom left or something.
He absolutely can.
Being able to reestablish the command center means he can mule, and if he can mule, he can start producing units again. Harstem still has a really large army supply, and he's got enough Templar left where storms could be a problem and a choke. He also pulled the Zealots back out of the main because he didn't want to lose too much for this, but it's definitely not over yet, but this is getting really tense for both sides. He's also looking for those medevacs. He knows they're somewhere on the right side of the map. The stocks are going to intercept at least 3 of them, and 2 of them have units inside of them.
Yeah, that was like his last, emergency unit, I guess you could call it.
As he starts consolidating his forces, though, I mean, look at this. This is going to be Gumiho forced to fight. He's gonna move the barracks to provide a little bit of SimCity to choke out the Zealots.
Yeah,
this is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the last stand in every way. I mean, he's mining again, but it's just mules.
Yeah, the storms are gonna be what's really the kicker here. But he's so spread out that I don't know.
He can really get those Templar up the ramp safely. He does leave a couple in the back. I like this. He knows there's always the danger of an EMP.
Okay.
Quick spreads out of Gumiho.
Yeah,
this barrack placement is so nice.
Yeah, and he's putting all of the money that he's making, or a lot of it, into Vikings, realizing those Colossus are really what's going to be the stable damage. Yeah. You know, storms will run out, and he can dodge them.
He's lost Archons at this point, so there's no buffer for the army. Harstem's army supply is looking a little bit scary. He's a little bit scarce, quite frankly, but Gumiho's still so spread out, it's going to be really hard to just abuse that area of effect damage. Another Colossus joins the front lines. I don't know where or how this guy came here. Harstem collecting every bit of unit from the map that he can. Pick up the last couple of Vikings. The Colossus are being stimmed upon by those Marauders. One's going to fall, 2 are going to fall. Harstem's going to tap out, and Gumiho will clutch the victory in game number 4. Oh, boy. So 3-1 ends up being the total score as he knocks Harstem down, and we're going to have a Little Bow versus Gumiho finals. Terran versus Protoss yet again. But a fantastic series, and I think a lot closer than anyone would have expected. For Harstem's sake, he played that out really well. For Gumiho's sake, he's happy he won, but there's no way he's like, man, easy peasy. No. In fact, every time he came to the lobby, there was a little bit of a chat, and of course, respect for Harstem. But all right, so Harstem's gonna fall to 3rd and 4th place. I don't know the order in which that place is, to be honest, but him and Impact will both walk away from this tournament with $100. But now we go for the big money, guys. Essentially a big fat show match, if you will. $500 for first place, $300 for second. Gumiho versus Little Bow. We are going to take a small intermission here, guys, because I know that Zombie